Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme, get on up. It's bobsled time. Welcome back, viewers and subscribers to Wizards of Sports. This is a boy, Sports is Greg, and in keeping with Black History Month, I just wanna run down a few names real quick of Black Trailblazers that are not your regular day-to-day household names in sports. You know, we already know the likes of Muhammad Ali, Jesse Owens, Pele, Michael Jordan's, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's, Venus Williams. How can I forget my favorite tennis player of all time? But there are other sporting greats or black sporting greats that don't get the regular day-to-day mention, or at least are not mentioned outside of the sporting disciplines. So, I just want to mention a few of them. But before I start, I just want to give special mention to the Jamaican bobsled team of 1988. Now, before the movie Cool Runnings, which I'm assuming everyone watching would have probably seen already, before that movie came out in 1993, a group of 4 Jamaican JDF soldiers decided to take their talents to the Winter Olympics in Canada and try their hand at bobsled. Before the event, they practiced with push carts or go-karts, training in the warm tropics of Jamaica and in Canada whenever they got the opportunity to. A team or an act that was laughed at first because nobody believed that this could really happen or they could even qualify for this event. But the group of 4 left for Canada to take part in the 2-man event, and after getting there and practicing some more, they decided, let's take on the 4-man event. Borrowed a used sled from the Canadian team, painted it in Jamaican colors, and the rest, like they say, is history. Actually, on the night before the eve of the qualifiers, Caswell Allen, who was a 4th member of the team, got hurt, and Christopher Stokes, brother of Dudley Stokes, who I think was the team captain at the time, was asked to fill that spot. Now, he was only there as a spectator and hadn't even practiced with the team before. But they got up the next day, did what they had to do, qualified, and had 3 runs. The third of which ended in a crash, and hence us finished in last place in that event. But so much so was the enthusiasm and the spirit behind the team that it influenced a filmmaker making a movie off of that event. And then in 1994, when we entered again, we actually qualified for 1992. Finished, I think, 25th again or 30th. Then 1994, we had our first medal in bobsled. Well, not technically, but it was like a medal, finishing in 14th position, but ahead of the USA team. So that was our medal in bobsled in 1994, and this team or this trying new path or taking on new roads by that team has influenced Jamaica's Winter Olympians or Olympic sports. We now have an ice hockey team, we have skiers, And the bobsled women team qualified for the 2018 Winter Olympics. So hats off to those four gentlemen from 1988. I only remember Chris Stokes and Dudley Stokes. I don't remember the other names on that team, but hats off to them, and just gotta give them their flowers while they're still around. Moving on and changing sports, the name Alti Gibson probably rings a bell to tennis fans, but not a lot of people outside the sport of tennis would probably know this name. But she was the Arthur Ashe before Arthur Ashe actually came along. You know, the first black woman to actually the first black tennis player to be invited to Wimbledon, first black tennis player to win a major, I mean not a major but a Grand Slam, when she won the French Open and finished her illustrious career with 11 Grand Slams. You know, and even after that career in tennis was over, she tried her hand at another sport, golf, and became the first black woman to make it into the LPGA. So hats off to Alti Gibson and her achievements in the world of tennis and the world of golf. You know, paving the way for the likes of Serena Williams, Venus Williams, Coco Gauff, Naomi Osaka, just to name a few. Moving on to another sport, Olympic sport this time. Tommy Simmet. A lot of us probably have seen the photos of the two black Americans on the podium with their fists raised like this. Now that was Tommy Simmet and John Carlos. Now, a lot of times when we speak of track and field greats from back in the day, it's just a name like Jesse Owens, and for Jamaicans it will be Herb McKinley's, Arthur Wint, Leslie, George Jordan, just to name a few that are mentioned. But Tommy Simmet is the first male runner to break the first runner to break the 20 seconds barrier in 200 meters. And he did this while winning his Olympic gold medal, which was later stripped of him, or both of them got their medals stripped, him and John Carlos, because the Olympics committee deemed that act by them to be political motivated and hence stripping them of their medal. Now, it could be called a political statement because their reason for doing it was protesting the treatment of black Americans in America. So if you ask them, or when they were asked, you know, they had no regrets, and losing that medal didn't mean as much to them as making a public statement on the grandest stage of all, the Olympics. So hats off to Tommy Simmet and John Carlos, and flowers to them. You know, these are two names that should be mentioned more regularly, and the likes of ESPN, Fox Sports, whichever sporting broadcasters, you know, that highlight great black athletes of yesteryears. These are two names that should be continuously mentioned. Another name that has to be mentioned, and one that's probably a bit more popular, you know, I can't say this is a name that's not popular in households, even outside of his sport. As a matter of fact, he has brought more fans to this sport than there ever was before, is Lois Hamilton. Now, he became the first black Formula One driver in 2007 when he came on the scene driving for McLaren, and the barriers that he continues to break, you know, the fans that he continues to bring to this sport, while getting a lot of racial profiling and racial abuse along the way, but he continues to be the voice of the voiceless. You know, he's one of those athletes where you gotta give him credit, because he continues to put his livelihood on the line and speak out on racial injustice right across the world. You know, whenever there is something going on, whenever there's any racial injustice that's big in the media or makes mainstream, you can always look out for or listen out for Lois Hamilton to give his 2 cents on it, and he is not one that holds back in defending the voiceless. So, you know, hats off to Lois Hamilton. May he continue to win more Formula One championships. Keep on doing what you're doing, bro. I know it is getting frustrating. There were talks of him probably retiring soon because of all that he's going through, but you know, you have fans out there that want you to continue winning. Go for the, continue going for all the records. Just set new ones. Whatever is left to be broken, just set new ones. So hats off to Lois Hamilton, like I said. Changing sports, and the sports that I'm probably gonna finish on. Actually, no. One more before I switch to soccer. Roberto Clemente, baseball icon from the island of Puerto Rico. Now, baseball fans or Latin American fans may know him more than the regular sporting fans, but outside of that, a lot of people don't know him. Now, the names of Jackie Robinson, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays are known to black sport fans or baseball fans because, you know, they paved the way, especially Jackie Robinson, 42, but 21, Roberto Clemente of the Pittsburgh Pirates and Puerto Rico, like I stated. He went through probably not as much as Jackie, but he went through a lot. Now, when he moved to America, other than being black, he also had to get over the language barrier. You know, just imagine a Spanish-speaking kid from the Caribbean back then. You know, it was the Caribbean accent mixed with Spanish, so it wasn't fluent Spanish. So that was the first thing he had to get over. But then his color was something that, you know, he could not change. While working in his language, color is something that he could not change. And he learned about that the hard way after winning the, was it 61 World Championship? World Series. The team came to Florida for spring training, and they were based in Naples back then, Naples, Fort Myers area. And he decided to go into a diner with his white teammates, and upon going inside and taking a seat, the waitress said to him that we don't serve Negroes. To which he replied, I don't eat them either. I just need some rice and beans. You know, so he was a very vocal and outspoken person, you know, did a lot of charitable work. As a matter of fact, when he passed away in 1972, New Year's Eve, 1972, December 31st, when his plane crashed, plunged into the ocean, and his body was never recovered, sadly. But when that plane crashed, he was actually on his way to Nicaragua with aid, food and medical aid for earthquake victims in December 72. So, you know, and he credits a lot of he credited a lot of the work that he did to Martin Luther. When asked who was his hero or who were his heroes, the first name that he was always mentioned was Martin Luther. So, you know, hats off and flowers to Roberto Clemente, a sports personality, a black sports personality, a Latino that, you know, continued to pave the way and open doors for not just black athletes, but baseball players from the Caribbean. Changing sports now and onto football. And the name Eusebio da Silva Ferreira, most commonly called Eusebio, the Black Pearl or the Black Panther, was born in Mozambique in 1942. Moved to Portugal at the age of 18. Now, he is the first black player to win the Ballon d'Or. Also the first one to win the Golden Ball. Actually, he's the first winner of the Golden Ball. When the Golden Ball first started being awarded, he was the first one to win it. You know, not the Golden Ball, the Golden Boot, sorry, for top goal scorer in Europe. So he's the first winner of the Golden Boot and the first black soccer / football player to win the Ballon d'Or. Now, he almost had another record, but you know, that was saved for another Brazilian. No, not Pele this time, but I'll get to that name in a few. Now, Eusebio and Pele actually had rivalries back then. You know, not as big as the Messi Ronaldo is these days. Mainly because Pele didn't really play in Europe. You know, he played his club football in South America. But Eusebio was the king of Europe back then. And the few times that they met on the pitch, you know, it was like Messi and Ronaldo are today. But yeah, Eusebio, he paved the way for black players back in Europe back then, you know. Faced his fair share of racism and segregation, but that didn't stop him from going beyond the boundaries and paving the way. Now, the Brazilian that has the record of being the first black player to win a Champions League or European Cup, which is today called the Champions League. Now, that player is Wilder Pereira, more commonly called Didi. Now, most Brazilian fans will tell you that Pele was the best player of the 58 and 62 World Cup teams, which he probably was. You know, but the player that was awarded with a Golden Ball, which is for the best player of the tournament for those two World Cups, was Didi. And he, like I said, he's the first player to win the European Cup when he did so with Real Madrid in 1959. Now, this is a name that before this month, when I started, you know, doing my research on Black Trailblazers, I did not know this name. You know, all along I thought that Eusebio was the first black player to win the European Cup club competition. And then when I started doing the researches, I found out that Didi was the first one. And not only that, he won those two Golden Balls in the two World Cups that Pele won alongside him. He was the most dominant player on that Brazilian team. He also played with likes of Garrincha as well. But yeah, Didi, another name, another trailblazer in the world of Black history sports. Anyways, that's all I have time for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I taught you something, especially with it being Black History Month. If I did, leave a comment, like and share, and for new viewers, subscribe to the channel. I have lots more content coming out, lots more educational stuff, entertaining stuff coming out. Hopefully it gets more entertaining, because I do agree sometimes some of my videos might not be as exciting, but at least they are educational. So continue to like, subscribe, share. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your week. Peace.